Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And if my voice sounds awful, I have to tell you guys something real quick. I've been trying to record this video for a while now. I am very sorry if my voice sounds dead, but every time I record it, either I make a misstep, the recording crashed, my microphone unplugged, all that stuff happened. But I think everything's fine now, so if my voice sounds dead, sorry about that. I've been trying to record this for 2 hours now. Everything that could have went wrong, went wrong. Now, before I forget, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes. So before I forget also, I have a challenge for you guys. So as you know, we have around 8.9 thousand subscribers. That's a lot, by the way. Thank you so much for all the subscribers. But I have a goal for all of you. If by the end of April, so April 30th is the cutoff, we reach 10,000 subscribers, I will release merch. You heard that right. Real American merch. You could probably guess some of the memes I'm already going to make with those. And I can tell you some of the early rough drafts of some of the merch ideas. They're awesome. So if you want merch, share with your friends. Get your buddies to subscribe. Get your family members to subscribe. Just, make sure they're not cringe, okay? Make sure they subscribe. Hit the like button down below. And yes. And the earlier we get the 10,000 subscriber goal, the more merch and the better merch will be released. So if we do it like next week, a lot of merch will be released. That's all I will say. But the merch store will be officially launched on May 1st if we reach that goal. So again, the more subscribers we get, the faster we do it, the more merch you guys will get. And no more promotions. Let's just get right into it. So we have 42 house seats that 270 to win considers to be competitive or somewhat competitive. Now, I disagree with some of these ratings, but for the most of these likely ratings I have for Montana's first, Washington's third, I do agree with these ratings. Some of the toss-ups, though, not necessarily. So let's get right into it. So, Arizona first. David is going to win this race. It's a matter by how much. He won it by around 4 percentage points in 2020. And David, doesn't necessarily overperform Trump that much. Maybe like a quarter of a percentage point at best. So it's not really, he's the strongest candidate in the world. He's more like a Trump-like candidate, in a district that is Democrat trending and got a bit more Democrat with redistricting. I do think he still wins it. I just think the incumbency still matters a bit too much for him to lose, especially with the red wave here. He's not going to lose. Now, 2024 may get iffy, but if he wins this race by like 15 points or something nuts like that, he'll be fine. But as of now, like a 3-4 point victory for David is expected, especially with how they redistricted his district. So yeah. Arizona second though. Just look at this. Trump won the seat by around 8.5 percentage points, and every single time O'Halloran ran, it was like a Trump 1.1 district. It's a Trump plus 8 district. Sorry for my stuttering there, but I'm just stunned that he keeps winning, but it's over. He's gonna get crushed in this race. It's gonna be like a 10, 11 point victory for the Republicans. And very similar with Kirkpatrick, she's not even running for re-election. She knows she's screwed if she would run. There are Democrats going to lose this seat by around 6-7 percentage points. It's only a plus 0.3% Biden seat. So it's not going to go Democrat, all right? And a Republican trending seat, reminder, you don't know what Arizona's 6th is, right here. It went from D+2 to R+7. I think that's all you need to know. Now, we get to the first sad district of the day, California's 13th. This was Devin Nunes' district, essentially. He retired. He's not running for re-election. He retired, all that stuff. Sad day. He would have probably lost either way, but as of now, it's a 5-6 point victory for the Democrats. Very sad. If we had a Valadeo type, Republicans could win this seat, but as of now, it's an L. F's in the chat for this seat. First flip of the day for the Democrats. Now, California's 22nd, though. Valadeo is a freaking electoral beast. I don't know how he does it. He makes O'Halloran look like just a genius. I mean, Valadeo was in a Biden plus like 12 seat. Way worse than like O'Halloran. And he still won. Yeah, it got a bit more Democrat, but this guy is not going down without a fight. Valadeo's gonna win. Is he cringe on some issues? Yes. But he is not going down at all. I mean, this guy is unstoppable. I swear, he won't lose. He will not lose. I mean, Jesus. Now, Mike Garcia. He's gonna win also. Very similar to Valadeo. He is not going down. He will win this race somehow. And sure, again, it got more Democrat. But again, Garcia like overperformed Trump by 12 points. With the red wave here and the fact they're incumbents, combine that, Republicans won these seats already. Valadeo just needs a campaign like he did in 2020. So does Garcia. And again, Valadeo is cringe. But again, I applaud him for he won't lose. With all the shit that happened in 2020, he still won. It's crazy to think about. Now, California's 45th. Michelle Steele, been a fairly disappointing Republican, but she is in the LA area, but I do think she still wins by like a 5, potentially 6-point victory. So borderline likely. I may just make it likely. And as of now, that is the one seat where I think Republicans have a pretty easy shot of winning. Yeah, they made it a bit more Democrat. It's stupid how they did it, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. It just, Michelle Steele will win. And it's just a matter of by how much, though. Now, California's 47th. That's not even worth my time. That's just a waste of time. Now, Colorado 8th, though. This is where shit goes down. It's Republican trending somehow. It's a new district with no incumbent. They made it R+3. And it's a suburb of Denver. Can somebody explain to me how they did this? Thank you for this win. I mean, this is not going to go with Democrat. Sure, Joe won it by 4.5. But compared to some of these other seats where, like, Democrats win by, like, 15 points and David Valadeo pulls a win out of his ass. He's not... I mean, this is a seat that Republicans run a competent candidate that, can do okay in the suburbs. That's a free flip right there. Now, Iowa's 3rd. That's been like an 8-point victory for the Republicans. Cindy, I mean, she won on a fluke in 2020. On a complete and total fluke. 2018, very similar. Blue wave here, she barely won. She's not going to win. Now, Illinois 13th. This was the one district that, again, is a monstrosity to behold. The old Illinois 13th was bad enough. But they did this. I mean, yeah, it used to be, bad, but at least it was compact, It kept most of most of this area together, didn't really do much splitting. Then it did this. What the fuck? Why is it always a line? It's just a line. Again, the meme is, just keep going to Indiana. I mean, that's where it was going. I mean, this is just a bad map. This is awful. And the Republicans incumbent there, I think it was, Davis. He even realized, it's not worth it. So Ronnie Davis isn't running, and it's over for the Republicans in that seat. Democrats will win this seat by like 5 percentage points. Only reason it's not by much more is because of the red wave here. Okay, folks, I'm very sorry about that. There was an interruption. My thing cut out, I guess, but I think I got the recording back. I know that was an awkward cut, but so we missed over the Underwood part. Underwood did lose by, won by like 1 percentage point. Joe won the district by around 2. She's going to win by like 6 points. I don't understand why this is considered a very competitive seat. Again, she could underperform by a lot, but it's still like 11 to 12 point, underperformance. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, again, unless you have like a David Valadeo type or Mike Garcia type, sure, but I don't see that happening. So as of now, that seat will go towards the Democrats. Now, Illinois 17th, though, Bustos is not running. That has me to believe that even with it becoming more Biden-friendly, this is a district that is rural, working class, and sure, it got awful. It's a monstrosity to behold. But still, there's a big working class population that still vote Democrat in this seat. I think Republicans will lose a seat by around 2 to 3 percentage points. It will be close, but I just think as of now, 2024 will be the year this seat flips. As of now. Again, it could, flip the cycle. I don't see it happening, though, but it could. Again, it could absolutely happen. Now, Kansas, third. I think Republicans win the seat. And for years, this seat was one of those strange seats that probably shouldn't even existed. But I'm glad the Kansas GOP was like, wait a minute. We can, do the bare minimum and get rid of this clown. And yeah, it's about the same, margin as for the presidential level. And in the new district, Biden won the seat by around 4.5. Well, that means only voted left of the country by like a half point. Do some basic math there, and well, if it's an R+7 or 8 environment, which it will be, by the way, Republicans will win the seat should win by a lot, but it is an incumbent in a more unfriendly district. So I do think Republicans will win this seat by around 2-3 percentage points. Glad the GOP was like, yeah, we should probably do something about that seat. No reason for it to exist. It's just, why? It's just, why should it exist at all? So now we have Maryland's first. That whole Maryland thing, that may go to court anyways, so I'm just going to skip over that. It is going to go to court, I believe. I believe so. Yes, it is in litigation. Yeah, it got significantly more Democrat, but Harris is still going to win by a lot. It's not going to change much. He's going to win by like 12 points. I mean, sure, it is a big drop from what he usually wins it by. I mean, you go to, Maryland. Where's Maryland here? Here it is. Maryland. And yes, he's not going to win it by 27, but still, he overperformed Trump by like 7 points in this seat. So I think he's going to win. It's just a matter by how much. It sucks that they did that shit, but what do you expect? It's Maryland. So Maryland, I do think Maryland's first will go to Republicans by a safe margin. Now we have Maine second. This is the one district that screwed me over in 2020. I'm trying to redeem myself here. Golden is a strong candidate. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. But this is a Republican trending seat. And they did make it a bit more Democrat, but still a very Republican trending seat. With a lot of voters, they're going to stop voting for Golden just because, he's a quote-unquote moderate. His voting record as of late has not been quote-unquote moderate. And I do think if Republicans run a good Trumpian-type candidate, like an America First, real America First candidate, I do think Republicans could win this seat. They could, by the way, win this seat by around 5-10 points. I think they're going to win this seat by around 2 right now. If they get a good candidate, they could win this seat by 5, 6, 7, upwards of 10 percentage points, in my opinion. But again, Golden is a strong candidate. Now we got Michigan's third. And Michigan third, I do think Republicans will win this race. Meyer is shit. Meyer is dog shit. That is no mistake about it. He is an awful Republican. But I do think that even if it's not him, Republicans are going to win this seat. And yes, they did make the seat more Democrat, significantly more Democrat. But this is one of those times where I think, you know what? I'm starting to question if the 2020 results in Grand Rapids area was the real one-off. You look at some of this precinct data, and they were like swinging the ruled parts by like 12 points or something like that. That's not going to happen again. That was a one-off. I mean, the Grand Rapids area, I do think had a one-off in 2020 for reasons I'm not going to say, but I do think Michigan's third is a seat that Republicans will win. It'll just be a matter by how much. It's going to be close, but I think Republicans still pull it off. Now, Michigan 7th, though, I think that's one of those seats that is interesting as it's, becoming a bit more Democrat in redistricting, but at the same time more Republican. It's weird how they did it, but essentially I do think Michigan 7th actually will be likely Republican. Michigan 8th is what I was thinking about. Michigan 8th, I think that Republicans will win by 1 or 2 points. The 7th district, though, I think that's an easy flip. I mean, you just gotta run a good candidate. And this is a Republican trending part of the state. I mean, this is the center part of the state that is trending significantly Republican. You're talking about the Lansing area and part of Flint. Those parts are trending Republican. Run a halfway competent candidate, not these crappy neocons. Run a good candidate that, working class, America first. You could win this seat easily. I mean, these are not strong candidates. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. These two, not that strong. They're just, holding out hope of the, Democrats from 10 years ago. Like, we're the working class Democrats. I'm starting to think that they're done after this year. Now, Michigan 10th, that's not even going to be, John James going to become the next representative of Michigan 10th. It's a new seat, and Republicans will win this seat by a lot. Now, Minnesota 2nd, I don't understand why this is, talked about. It's not going to go Republican. I mean, it's just the way they did it in Minnesota, I think they actually made it a bit more Democrat. Actually, it's the same, but I do think, though, she is a strong incumbent. It's going to be close, though, but I do think she's going to win by like 5-6 points. She's a fairly strong candidate, and Republicans, in 2020 kind of underperformed this area. Now, that's a matter of what happened, okay, the riots had an effect maybe, but still, it's like they still underperformed this area. So as of now, I do think the seat will be likely Democrat. Again, it could go Republican. If they run a good candidate, it could go Republican. But as of now, I just don't see that happening. Now, I'm going to skip the North Carolina seats because those clowns in 270 to win, they don't have any data. I have nothing to go on. And I know 538, they do have, North Carolina's first D+5 from D+7. But I'm not just going to go exactly off of that. But if I was forced to make some prediction, all right, I was absolutely forced to make one. North Carolina's first would probably be, lean Republican. North Carolina's 13th, likely Republican. Again, I don't think, we can make a fair assumption without the data. But as of now, I'll just do this, satisfy the people. Again, North Carolina's 13th, fairly Republican seat. Now, Nebraska's 2nd, though. That's one of those seats that I hate Don Bacon. He's going to win by a lot. Just no. I hate him, but he's going to win by so much. He'll win by 8-9 points easily. Now, New Jersey's 7th, though. This is a Republican trending part of New Jersey. And again, New Jersey's one of those seats they really had a bad map for redistricting. But this is the one seat that they made significantly more Republican. Now, there is litigation happening with what's, some of the shenanigans that happened with redistricting here. There are some very corrupt things that happened with the redistricting process. But as of now, I do think Republicans will win New Jersey 7th by 5, 6, 7 points. It should be easy flip. Now, New Mexico 2nd, though, that's not going anywhere. Stop it. Stop this idea that, it got more Democrat, that means it's going to flip. No. One of the worst national environments in history, and only voted left the nation by 1.5 points. And with all the oil crisis that's happening in the state, or the energy crisis, that district in particular is going Republican by a lot, by 2-3 percentage points. Well, not a lot, but 2, 3, 4 points. Now we get Nevada, and oh boy, this is where the meme of the cycle it is. Nevada. Good job, you screw this up so badly that even 270 to win believes they're all three potentially competitive. And even 527 admits it. I mean, this was a effed up map for them. Now, I do believe Nevada's 3rd. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with this. I think that leans Republican. I think that's an easy flip. Yes, they made it more Democrat, sure. But the parts they made more Democrat, all three of these districts are trending significantly Republican. So I do think Nevada's 3rd will go towards Republicans. Now, Nevada's 1st, though. I think Democrats hold on to the seat as of now. It will be a hard-fought battle. But I think Democrats, as of now, will hold on. Now, if the Reid machine truly is dead, there's no more bullshit, Republicans easily should win this seat. But the Reid machine still has remnants. It's not as strong as it used to be. It's just still there. Now, Nevada's 4th is where it gets a bit interesting. It is a Biden +8 district. But just like Nevada's third, it's very Republican trending. And the incumbent is a newer incumbent. It's one of those seats where, yes, it voted left of Nevada's first. But I think this is more easier to win because this is one of the most Republican trending seats in Nevada. But I do think as of now, it does barely lean towards the Democrats. I wish it didn't, but as of now, I do think Democrats will hold on to Nevada's fourth. Now we get down to, I believe it is New York. I'm going to speed run this one. Okay, Lee Zeldin's not even running for re-election. He's running for governor. That race is likely Democrat. Now, New York's 11th. De Blasio is apparently running. I don't know why he thinks he can win. I mean, that's just flat out being completely out of touch, but apparently de Blasio was thinking of running. And if he does run, that will be the biggest meme I have ever seen if he actually runs for Congress, but I don't think he will. And I do think Democrats will lose the seat, actually. That may sound nuts, but Staten Island, it is one of those seats that I do firmly believe will make a huge swing to the right in 2022. It's my hot take. It is my hot take of the election. Yes, they made it significantly more Democrat. Yes, they did. But this is a part of New York where it could go two ways. Either she loses by a lot, or she wins by like a point. And this is a part of New York where there's a big chunk of this, population that is still Democrat, but should be very Republican. So it could be interesting. I do think she will barely hold on. Now, for there are two, I'm not just gonna, there's my prediction of those two. It's not worth it. Not worth talking about. Now, we get Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania is 7th. You go down to Pennsylvania. This is one of those seats where I think Republicans, should win this seat by quite a bit. This is a more working class part of the state. And I do think Republicans will win it. Not by as much as they should, but it is an incumbent, and it is a district that is interesting. That's the best way to describe it. I mean, they did make it a bit more Republican, I believe. Yeah, they made it more Republican, so I do think she will actually lose. Susan Wild. I think she's going to lose. Wild. Now, Pennsylvania's 8th, though. Again, one of those seats where I think Republicans, they're not going to win it by as much as they should, but they're still going to win it. Now, Pennsylvania's 17th. That's going to go Republican. Not by a lot, but again, it should go Republican by a lot, but it won't. They did redistrict it a little bit to Democrat for it to go by like R+6, R+7. But still, though, Republicans should, in quotations, should win this race by around 2 points. Connor Lamb isn't running. He was a quote-unquote moderate Democrat. Well, not really moderate, just, claims to be a moderate Democrat, and he's not even running, so we don't even have to worry about this seat that should go Republican by a lot, but it sadly won't. Now, Tennessee 5th. Why is this even here? Why? I'm just going to ignore that one right there. Texas is 15th. That is right here. Texas 15th. Open seat. Democrats have no real candidate. That is not going Democrat at all. Now we get the one race, though, where I'm going to get a lot of shit either way what I say. Texas 28th. This is all dependent on if Kohler wins. I don't think he's going to win his primary. I think he's done. His best shot was avoiding a runoff. Now he has to deal with it. It's going to be a lower turnout. It's going to be the more hardcore Democrat voters. They're going to vote for the progressive. With that in mind, I firmly believe this is an easy flip if it's not Kohler. If it is Kohler, it's going to be closer, but I do think Republicans will barely edge it out. Just barely by a few points. Now we get Virginia 2nd. And Virginia 2nd is in that part of the state of Virginia, the Virginia Beach area. This is a part of the state that made a huge swing to the right in 2021. Again, it's not exactly a correlation, but I do think it is Republican trending to a lesser extent. Not by a lot, but it is Republican trending by like 4 points. I think she's done. I think Luria is done. Now, Spangenberger, I think she's also done. It's be very close, but I think she's done also. Yes, they may have made her district more Democrat. Yes. But what we saw in 2021, I don't think was a fluke. I don't think that was a fluke. And you look at the governorship results, she's in a Youngkin district by a lot. You run a Youngkin-style candidate, well, there you go. That's a free flip. And the Republicans in Virginia are getting smart, like, wait, let's run a Youngkin-style candidate in all these seats. And I think they will. Apparently, they do have one. So, Republicans will flip this seat. Now, you get Washington's 8th. This is going to be a tougher one to predict. This is a very, very hard one to predict. In a red wave year, this is an incumbent. And Biden won the seat by around 7 points. This is a tough one. I do think Democrats will barely hold it off at the end. End of the day, they're going to win this seat by, 1 or 2 points. And this, folks, is my current 2022 House prediction video. Now, there's obviously, some things I would, change. Maybe in New York, maybe in possibly New Mexico, Texas, maybe. But as of now, based on this is currently what I got. 184 for the Republicans, around Democrats for 184 for the Democrats, I should say. Now, there's going to be around like 50, Republican seats that come out of the remaining states. And plus, some of these districts I do disagree with. I think, Texas's 34th could potentially go to the Republicans. May seem crazy, but we saw in 2020 that may not be that crazy at all. Also, Illinois may have a few flips here and there. New York may have a few flips. North Carolina may have one. Nevada may, go all Republican. And Oregon's 5th, I'm just putting this here, I think Republicans flip that one. So right now, Republicans have 185, Democrats have 183. So as of now, I think Republicans are going to win back the House, no matter by how much. But right now, I think it's going to be like around 230 to 240 in the House. Wish it was more, but as of now, this is probably what's going to be like 240 in the House. And if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, smash the like button below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.